well, this is definitely a review I should have put up at least 4 days ago. I have seen Ghost in the Shell. I actually did see it early. I was very lucky enough to get a preview of it. Thank you very much thank you very much Paramount for sorting that out. That was cool. But I have been in the process of moving house, and in that time, YouTube has become not so important, but I need to continue with this because I do promise 2 videos a week. Ghost in the Shell. I'm a fan of the animated film from 1995. I think it's a very interesting, stylish yet very thought-provoking film. It is basically the animated equivalent of Blade Runner, if you ask me. I'm not a massive anime manga fan, but for me, Ghost in the Shell is probably one of the best anime films I've ever seen in my life. Probably one of the best animated films I've ever seen as well. The Japanese really just know how to do animation. When Ghost in the Shell was announced to be released, I was rather skeptical at one point due to the fact that, Rupert Sanders, who, if you don't know, made Snow White the Huntsman, which we all know what he did in the background, but also, it was a pretty crappy movie. Honestly, he has also been attached with one of my favorite graphic novels, Black Hole. If you haven't heard about Black Hole, you should check it out. But we'll talk about that another day, probably when this guy makes that movie. Maybe I should make it. Anyway, Rupert Sanders isn't exactly he wasn't the best choice, but here we are. It's out. Scarlett Johansson stars in it. We love Scarlett. I adore Scarlett Johansson. I think she's one of the best actresses around these days. I feel like films like Under the Skin really have shown how much of a strong actress she is, and she kind of perfectly fits into Ghost in the Shell and playing Major. I don't really see much of the point in explaining the plot to you. Just go, watch it or read about it. But anyway, Ghost in the Shell. I like it. I think that Sanders does a very good interpretation of the anime movie, but it doesn't necessarily topple it. It fits nicely. It doesn't really get the whole context of it, and it doesn't really keep the thematic. There's not that strong flow of the theme of the film. If you don't know what I mean, you maybe should watch the anime first too. But I really like the way that the film has been portrayed. I love the scenery, the city, just the way the AIs look, just the way that Major looks, Barlow looks. I really dig it. There's great lighting. It's kind of what I'm expecting Blade Runner 2049 to look like for some reason, but I really just enjoyed the way that it worked. The only problem with the VFX is sometimes, you do get too many landscape shots that just are too busy. Very similar to what James Gunn did with Guardians. It's just everywhere, and you just trying to focus on one thing, but you focus on something else and something else. And that was my only issue with it. And I do sometimes, obviously it's made on a computer, but just the choice of just the way that they moved around sometimes really just kind of puts you out of the moment. But I feel like he's rectified himself from Snow White the Huntsman. I still don't want him to make Black Hole, but let's just hope it doesn't happen, and maybe David Fincher might make it. But again, I need to stop talking about Black Hole because that really did annoy me when I heard that story a few years ago. To be honest with you, I did honestly hope that Rupert Sanders was never going to work again, but fair play to him. His second chance in making a movie, he did a very good job. I really enjoyed the dialogue and the flow of the film. I feel like it's very constant, decently paced. Obviously, the action, if you're expecting an all-out action movie, this is not the movie for you. Sanders really does pick his moments to when the action happens, and it's not just bang, 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 bang. So, it's an intellectual sci-fi, which most people like myself will enjoy. Talking about Scarlett Johansson then, the whole whitewashing thing, personally, I think it's kind of stupid. Even, Japanese, fans of the film, prior to this did not kick off anything about it. It was mainly, us in the Western world that kicked off. Even the creator of Ghost in the Shell not even ever said that Major should be played by an Asian actress. He's never mentioned it. So I think it's just something that just went a bit OTT, and Scarlett Johansson just nails this role. She plays Major the way I expect her to. Again, we're talking about films like Lucy and Under the Skin, where she has really molded Major, really, even before she knew she was playing this character. You know, she plays an AI kind of character so well. You know, she has that weird, just has that look into her eyes where, you know, there's a humanistic feeling to it, but at the same time, you know, it's robotic, and just her expressions and reactions to things just really do work so well in this film for her. What else can I say? I did enjoy I don't really know how to pronounce this guy's name, Pilos Aspect. He played Bato in this film. I enjoyed him. The chemistry between him and Johansson was okay, but at the same time, I wasn't blown away. I really liked his look. You know, he had very interesting moments. Takeshi Kitano was pretty much a badass through the movie. I enjoyed him as well. Juliette Binoche was kind of, I don't know. I'm still trying to think about what to say about Juliette Binoche, but all in all, Ghost in the Shell is a worthy film. 3.5 out of 5 stars for me personally. Will there be a franchise? You don't really know. I kind of hope not. But I'm pretty tired of franchises and reboots now. I'm losing my mind with it all. So, you know, guys, let me know what you thought of the film. All my details are below as always. Tweet me. Letterboxd, there's always reviews on Letterboxd. You can also go on my website. I really should plug my website. It's www.thatmovieguy.co.uk. It's all in below. Like, subscribe, share. Up next, we're going to have a review for Life. We're going to have a review for Free Fire. Hopefully the house will be ready for the next video, I hope. Only time will tell. I still got another busy week. I've finishing my filmmaking course and stuff. So, very exciting times to come. Cannes coming up, so in the middle of applying for passes and everything like that as well. Yeah, so obrigado, gracias, arigato, diolch, thank you, merci, dankeschön. See you soon.